There has been a notion circulating among WWE fans and insiders that The Rock will return to the ring for one farewell match against his cousin Roman Reigns. Roman is currently on a roll in the industry. He's been putting down contenders left and right as WWE Universal Champion, which has led to a strange trend. A superstar who has been out of the ring for some time makes a comeback after Roman wins a big match. So far, Roman has completed each one. John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, and more are among the names on the list. The first half of these wrestlers features a group of wrestling legends that shared a huge chunk of the career with The Rock. And who knows, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson could be one of the next big superstars to return for the show. Johnson is now promoting his Netflix thriller Red Notice, in which he plays Agent John Hartley, who hunts down thieves alongside Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot. After Red Notice, he has a lot on his plate. Johnson's DC Comics film Black Adam is currently in post-production, a new Jumanji film is in the works, and he may try occupying the White House in the future. He might sneak a WWE match into his schedule somewhere, though it's unlikely he'd go on past what would be a big return match. On his comeback, who would the matches for The Rock be against? Here's a list of 5 top wrestlers that might face The Rock on his much-awaited comeback.
We told you that we could feel that all hell was going to break loose here tonight.
Don't tell me! Mamma mia! Mamma mia! Are you kidding me?
Number 5. Seth Rollins. Allowing Rollins to fight The Rock on the stick right away would help him reclaim his place in the main event and provide him with some momentum to ride to the top of Vince McMahon's company. Seth Rollins is just as good on the mic as he is in the ring, which means he has a chance to win over some fans and potentially develop a memorable character. That is, as long as he is portrayed as a serious threat to The Rock. If Rollins' persona suddenly switched to being a coward and fleeing threats, he'll be beaten by a legend in another program. Seth Rollins was fortunate enough to work with The Rock when The Rock returned to WWE a few years ago. Rollins was able to beat him up a couple of times. Seth Rollins and The Shield powerbombed The Rock through a table in one of the matches that will go down in history. Number 4. Bobby Lashley. Former WWE Champion Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson congratulated the new WWE Champion Bobby Lashley in March of 2021. The Rock had previously praised the Hurt Business. In response to a tweet from MVP, Lashley added his 2 cents to the conversation, praising The Rock for laying the groundwork. The initial comments, which were made after 2 fans remarked on a photo of The Rock, Lashley and Kofi Kingston clutching their WWE title belts, may be found here in tweets. "You and so many others paved the road for us to do what we do." Lashley wrote in a tweet the other day, "There might not be an almighty without the great one." The Rock then responded to Lashley's tweet telling the CEO of the Hurt Business to seize the brass ring and run with it. According to an earlier update, "Thank you, brother, for your kind words. I'm delighted for you and extremely proud of you. Take the brass ring in your hand and go for broke. You're the champ and you're the one who knows what to do. Represent." Rock's return to Lashley brought the exchange to a close. When the WWE has brought back icons in recent years, it has done so not to promote younger talent or produce new stars, but to put on contests that would appeal to casual and lapsed wrestling fans. Is this a wise move? We don't know yet. Vince McMahon doesn't seem to mind. Bobby Lashley is a well-known figure in MMA and wrestling worlds, and he has proven to be a popular spectator. Putting him in a match with The Rock might sell out a stadium, giving the WWE a massive show. Number 3. Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre got into a brawl with The Rock during a media interview in 2020. In an interview with the Glasgow Times, he expressed his desire to meet the Great One in a WrestleMania main event bout. Surprisingly, the champion has good reason to be angry with the company's previous franchise wrestler. During a TMZ interview, Drew McIntyre recalled The Rock praising him. When the fan-favorite champion chose him to be the company's next breakout star a few years ago, he was doing nothing in the WWE. The current title holder took great pride in the endorsement, and he lived up to the expectations. The aftermath, on the other hand, had turned bitter. Drew McIntyre also discussed how The Rock promoted Dolph Ziggler prior to one of Drew's previous title battles with Ziggler at WWE's Extreme Rules. On a custom photo of Ziggler having the WWE Championship, Rock stated that he wished for it to be genuine. Drew's phone exploded after he made nasty remarks about it. Drew McIntyre has been the WWE's next big face twice, and both times he has been booked smoked into oblivion. Every draft, he is shuffled between Raw and SmackDown, which keeps him away from long-term stories and rivalries. Wrestling The Rock does not solve the problem, but it does provide McIntyre with some mainstream exposure, which may help him persuade the powers that he allow him to construct some long-term structures. Furthermore, the match will be thrilling. McIntyre puts up a fantastic WWE-style match, and The Rock is the best ever to do so. Many modern wrestlers would make The Rock struggle in the ring, but McIntyre would be the ideal opponent for him. Number 2. Big E. The battle between Big E and The Rock is flawless in every sense. The New Day and The Rock engage in promotional fights, the moving promotional bundles, the possibility of a match. As long as it performed effectively, every aspect of this concept is great. Big E's time has finally come, and he has the WWE crowd on his side. He doesn't need The Rock's rub to go over, but if WWE is serious about ensuring that he is the company's future, he needs this now. The Rock's promos are among the best in wrestling history, but Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E can all keep up. The sound bites would go viral almost instantly and would likely be remembered for years as a watershed moment for WWE. In the meanwhile, the match books themselves should be elite. Big E is pushing himself to the limit because he knows his time is running out. He can no longer afford to lose. The Rock's inability to subdue Big E and admiration for his tenacity as Big E lifts The Rock for the big ending, hitting the 3 count as Sophie Stadium erupts with cheers. WrestleMania comes to a close. This is exactly what the WWE needs to accomplish at a time when it's struggling to develop future stars and isn't doing a fantastic job of producing moments that fans will remember for a lifetime. Number 1. Roman Reigns. It wouldn't take much to persuade Attitude Era enthusiasts that it makes sense. Though some fans are annoyed when WWE superstars make brief comebacks between creating and promoting films that they have grown into after getting popularity from wrestling. The Rock appears to be a WWE figure that the vast majority of fans would like to see tango once more. In addition, the plot is developing on its own. During an unprecedented reign that has lasted more than a year, Roman Reigns is showing his supremacy as the WWE Universal Champion. What better way to put a stop to it or solidify his family's power than a great final combat with his family? And I don't mean the Usos. The current storyline with Roman Reigns is undoubtedly the finest in WWE right now. At the very best, the head of the table storyline has kept SmackDown watchable, and it was with The Rock at the end of the story that was constructed. Roman Reigns' storyline has come to close with The Rock since Reigns returned a year and a half ago. He is the last member of the famed Minoa family to refuse to recognize Reigns as a tribal chief. He's been the family's public face for a long time, a position that Reigns has been vying for nearly a decade. For Reigns, this match and show will be intense, hard-hitting, and most likely very personal. Reigns, The Rock, the Usos, even Paul Heyman, and the fans would all get very invested in the build-up to this encounter. What do you think of this list? Let us know in the comment section below. If you haven't, please subscribe to Sports Entertainment, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.
Off the ropes, always untamed, on guard when I step in the ring. WWE, all eyes on me. King of the ring, who you came to see? It's a big show, so let your friends know. Only the strong survive. Face to face, look your opponent up in the eyes. Crowd cheering, fan favorite, I'm the main event. Had them all waiting, my finish move, they anticipating. Laid out like you, son.